Hey guys, welcome back to Pixel Rich Games. This episode of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is all about farming materials. In case you don't know yet, we have a DLC coming this June, and Nintendo's teaser says that we'll be getting new characters and new weapons, and I'm totally down. So if you're someone like me, I'd like to make sure that I'm ready with materials for the Hylian blacksmith, and at least 1,000,000 rupees. Preferably, I'd like to max out all my materials. This brings me to our little experiment. So I wanna know what type of setup can get me the most loot in my farming runs to help me achieve my goal efficiently. I've been having a hard time collecting raw meat for materials, so I looked around and found the perfect mission for this experiment. So we are now working with this mission, Defend Hyrule Castle, which has the materials that I want to hunt and more. What we are targeting are raw meat, raw prime meat, raw gourmet meat, raw bird thigh, raw whole bird, and might as well have a look at some monster part drops, so let's mix in moblin horns, fangs, guts, and Lizalfo's tails. In the goal of making this experiment as objective as it can be, my first run is all about getting a baseline number for all the materials mentioned. I'm using Sidon for this with the Great Fairies just because I might be lucky enough to get an attack speed plus, and I want either of the two to get it. You can see here that my weapon for the Great Fairies absolutely suck. And just like that, here are the results for the baseline run. Okay, now the first thing that I want to find out after this is how much impact will eating food for drops have. This time, I'm on Spear Link because I also need more good seals on him, and I also have Terraco as my droid companion. Had to give up on the fairies because they kept blocking my way with their sexy bodies. So let's dive right in. Voila, we're back. Comparing the results that we got after running with food buffs that increased material drop rate by 45% to our baseline number, I actually don't see anything definitive. Both our bird meat numbers even crashed. Now let's start adding weapon builds into the mix. We are back on my boy Sidon, but this time, his weapon build is rocking a whopping 64% increase to monster part drop rate. Basically, the Moblin and the Lizalfos drops. Okay, now that's done. This run has very interesting results. There was little to no impact on our non-monster drops, which was expected. Now look at those numbers from Moblins and our Lizalfos tails. I don't see any definitive increase compared to our baseline numbers. Using the same build, let's see what 45% material drop rate buff from food will do this time. So nothing glaring for raw meat and bird, that's expected. Disappointing turnout for our Moblin parts, but look at the number for Lizalfo's tails. We went from a 202 to a 20. Now that is huge. Another thing that I'm curious about the results that we got are our Moblin drops. Is this run telling us that Moblin parts are not considered as monster drops, but are in fact another category, as in rare drop? Unfortunately, I don't have a weapon build for rare drops yet, so we will have to do that in another video in the future. For now, we will need to settle with what we got. It's time again to switch things up. This time we're going back on Link, but instead of my beautiful attack speed spear, I'm using my Lizal Tri-Boomerang with 82% battlefield specific material drop rate. Now before we dive in, for those of you lovely people watching my vids who don't know what a battlefield specific material is, from this window, you can actually check by looking at the battle info by pressing X. Right there. Easy, right? Okay, let's go. So the results for this run shows us some significant bumps compared to our baseline. From 9 raw prime meat, we got 34. 19 raw bird thighs went up to 36. Well, those two are it. Monster part drops, nothing big as expected. Again, time to eat food to get the 45% material drop rate buff. Okay, this time, our drops completely and utterly stomp our baseline numbers. From 28 raw meat, we are now up to 98. Woo! From 9 raw prime meat, we got 62. 19 gourmet meat to 10. Derp. Raw bird thigh from 19 to 60. Pretty good numbers. I'd say it's the first time that we got our money's worth from the food buff. We are not done yet, boys and girls. We are now going on Patricia and Riju. And this time we have a Bridal of the 7 with 72% sensor registered material drop rate. So let's go ahead and add the drops that we are looking for to our sensor. What's awesome about this build is we are able to add both raw meats and monster parts to the sensors. So on paper, we should see better drop rates for both. And we're back. And sadly, the only undeniable increase that I see on this is our raw prime meat. A bit disappointed with the results. Okay, let's do this again, but this time with 45% food buff. Now, raw prime meat from 9 went up to 39. 19 raw gourmet meat up to 36. Raw bird thigh from 19 to a whopping 52. And Lizalfo's tails from 2 to 16. What an eye-opener. I actually thought the sensor seals would win, but in my humble opinion, I think 82% battlefield specific material drop rate with 45% food buff took it home. Moving forward, my farming strategy will be geared more towards battlefield drops. That is it for this brief experiment. Hope you guys found this useful. Show your boy some love by subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to get notified for more Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity content. Expect more fun videos coming your way. Stay healthy, keep safe, and God bless us all.